You better not be taking me anywhere I don't want to go. I want to go into the city. Jeez.
You can tell listening to Amber Tuccaro's last phone call.
No, we're not. Then what are these roads going to?
That this rural area outside of Edmonton isn't where she wanted to end up. Tuccaro was a passenger in a vehicle. The driver, a stranger. She likely didn't know their conversation was being recorded, and that years later, it could help solve her murder.
Where are we by?
We're just heading south of Beaumont, or north of Beaumont.
We're heading north of Beaumont.
I miss her every day, all the time. I think about her all the time.
It's been 5 years since her daughter disappeared, but Tootsie Tuccaro's grief has not subsided. Amber was her baby, her only girl after 4 boys. One weekend in August 2010, Amber told her mother she and her son were taking a trip to Edmonton with a friend. Tootsie says she didn't want her daughter to go.
And she's like, Mom, it's okay, just 2 sleeps and we'll be back. And well, even though I tell Amber not to go or do whatever, she's going to do it anyways. And so they left that evening.
They stayed at this motel in Nisku, just outside the city. Tootsie says she and Amber were in constant communication, so when she couldn't reach her on the second evening, she was immediately worried.
I used to always tell Amber, like, don't hitchhike, don't go with strangers, or if you're in a cab, even if you have to pretend like you're on your cell phone, like, do it just so the person will think you're talking to somebody and won't do nothing to you.
Tootsie doesn't know how or why, but the night before they were due to head back home, Amber ended up in the exact situation her mother warned her about. She got in a vehicle with an unknown man, but this phone call wasn't fake. It was real.
Yo, where are we going?
And it was being recorded on the other end.
You better not be taking me anywhere I don't want to go. I want to go into the city. Jeez.
Amber was never heard from again. Tootsie reported her missing right away, but says police didn't take Amber's disappearance seriously.
Oh, she's probably out partying and she'll come home, she'll call. That's what they told me, but I said I still won't report her missing.
RCMP didn't seem to put much effort into finding Amber until 2 years after her disappearance, when they did something unprecedented. They released this audio recording and asked anyone who recognized this man's voice to come forward.
Yo, we're not going in the city, are we? No, we're not. Then what are these roads going to?
50th Street.
50th Street. Are you sure?
Absolutely.
Police have never disclosed how or where they got the audio recording or who Amber's talking to on the phone. But we found out that the call to Amber's cell came from her brother, who was incarcerated in the Edmonton Remand Center, where all outgoing phone calls by inmates are recorded. And just 4 days after the recording was released, horseback riders found Amber's remains here, on this farmer's property in Leduc County, just south of Edmonton. And the RCMP's missing persons case became a homicide investigation. And their search for the voice intensified. RCMP say they've received hundreds of tips, but the identity of the man behind the voice remains a mystery.
How can his family, or if he has a wife or his friends, how do they sleep at night knowing? They hear it. Maybe it's the same guy that's killing these other women that are found in Leduc, Nisku area, right? And how many more women, girls, are going to be killed before he's caught? Because these people that know are not coming forward and identifying him.
This woman is convinced that she knows the man in the recording. We've agreed to conceal her identity.
I knew the voice like I know the back of my own hand. Right away, yeah, I listened to it. I recognized it right away. And not only recognized it, but I could see how the voice was sitting, where its hands were, where it was looking. I was so used to it.
We spoke to two other women who also believe it's the same man. All three say they've reported him to RCMP's Care Division. But RCMP reached out to us and told us they've looked into their tips, but this man is not a person of interest in Amber's case.
Wow, they didn't look very hard, I don't think.
RCMP only released 61 seconds of the recording, but the entire phone call lasted 17 minutes. That's about the length of time it would take to drive from the Nisku Motel to here, where Amber's remains were found. Tootsie has heard the whole thing. She says Amber can be heard laughing at the beginning, but that the phone call ends abruptly, in fear.
My baby sounds so scared. And Amber was like a tough girl. She can take care of herself, you know. And she won't just let anybody do anything to her without a fight or whatever. And I get nightmares. I have all these awful thoughts of what could have, what happened to her.
As hard as it is to imagine what happened, Tootsie can't let it go. Until Amber's killer is caught, she vows she won't give up.
And as messed up as it is, I think of the voice all the time. I think about the voice all the time. It's kind of like so messed up because Amber's case is about the voice, the man's voice. And now I am Amber's voice.
Now her only hope is that someone out there recognizes the voice and has the courage to speak up. Connie Walker, CBC News, Fort Chipewyan, Alberta.